range of products inside the factory. We have scrap metals, acetones, paint products.
A combination of acetone and other chemicals is known to have been burning inside the factory. Runoff from the water being used by firefighters has ended up in the nearby Stony Creek, turning it blue and black in parts yesterday, with Melbourne Water currently pumping out as much of that polluted water as possible before it reaches the Yarra.
The chemicals that were washed out by the firefighting efforts and the foam that was used in the firefighting ended up straight into the creek and washing down, and it was a terrible disaster.
Our park ranger Martin, he rang me and said, Lola, the water's blue, but don't go down.
I'm Michelle Pini from Independent Australia, and we are here at Stony Creek, where one of the worst environmental disasters that has occurred in Melbourne at a local West Footscray factory complex.
We heard the sirens quite early in the morning and thought, that's unusual because there were so many of them. Thought something big's happened, and then didn't realise what it was until we stepped outside and saw this huge mushroom cloud of really black smoke. I'm a science graduate, and so straight away I knew there was acetone in the water.
Yep.
And I've seen that dissipate over time, but the smell that's remaining now, from my viewpoint, appears to be the actual firefighting foam, and that's been here the whole time. There's funny stuff starting to happen in the actual creek, because they've got barriers up to catch stuff, and there's things starting to pile up there that look a bit weird and whatever. So,
and the whole creek is dead, and you can still hear a lovely sound of water going over the rocks next to us, but even I've seen the worms are dead. They're really at the base of the ecosystem. Of course, maybe some birds have moved to unaffected areas, but birds have been affected. All the fish have been killed. Now the vegetation on the side of the creek is starting to die off, so it's basically a dead creek.
There are signs all over this area warning residents to stay away from the area, not to allow their pets or children into the creek, and people are very concerned about the long-term ramifications for their health. There have been immediate ramifications in terms of respiratory problems. There have been nosebleeds, there have been headaches.
A lot of the people that live nearby have suffered respiratory problems, asthma and different sorts of things that really, we're not really sure what's happened there. It was such a mix of chemicals.
As I said, because we can control our dog, it's safe for us to do it, but all the ones that can't control their dogs have stopped coming, basically. I think the part of the problem is we've had no rain for the last month. I mean, virtually no rain. You can tell after a big rain, the water level rises, and it's been quite low, and since the fire it's been really low, and I think what's happened is the contaminated water's washed through, it's soaked up on the bank sides, and then the water level's dropped.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter how much water's coming through at the moment, that's all still there.
The sediment has been contaminated, so removing the whole stream bed seems impractical, but really I really don't know how they're going to tackle it.
Some residents, of course, believe that the mitigation efforts have been adequate and that authorities are doing all they can.
People who are saying nothing's getting done, they just don't understand. EPA have been fantastic, and they've worked 24 hours when it first happened, all day, all night, to pump that stuff out of the water. It's sad we've had to have this happen, and then we're going to get something done. But, we've got $1 million from government.
But there is also concerns about the long-term effects and whether such an incident can recur.
We don't know what's up there. So now, I think it's said the authorities will be checking it all out now.
The problem is, if something like this happens again, it's going to get flushed down here again.
Yeah.
Like there's nowhere else it can go. So if they have a big incident like that again, it's going to happen again.